Hello, Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to our online chat about our online MBA program here at the Santa Clara University, Leavey School of Business. And we'll start momentarily. We have great panelists here. We're going to talk about, of course, our exciting online MBA program. But we'll take a few seconds for people to open their laptop, close the door at your office. If you're walking, find a nice spot in the park, whatever else. But we'll take a few more moments for people to gather. So, and this is our wonderful Santa Clara
Cheers.
Water. Last time we did this, it was a coffee chat in the morning. So Dr. MacGregor and I had coffee chat. This time we're changing it up over the lunch hour. So hopefully you're having a nice lunch.
It's good. It's a very summer spirit kind of thing. We're in polos this time. It's better.
Being more casual.
Yep.
Yeah.
I missed the memo. Sorry.
Well, you came from work.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's true.
Yes. Okay, well, hopefully you all are settled. I see some people are signing on, and so welcome again. So my name is Toby McChesney. I'm the Senior Assistant Dean of Graduate Business Programs here at, obviously, Leavey School of Business. And I oversee all of our graduate programs. We have 3 MBA programs and 4 Master of Science programs. And of course, our newest addition to the family here at Leavey is our online MBA program. Yay. Very excited about that. And we have a current student here who was in our first cohort.
Yes. My name is Yae Choi. So I was part of the first cohort, the winter cohort. So I'm starting to see what the online course is all about. So I'm here to answer all your questions. I'm a marketing data quality analyst at ServiceNow, which is honestly just 2 miles away from here. So I had the option for both, but I chose the online program. So here to answer any of your important questions.
Cool. Thanks, Yae. I was excited when I found out you would be here. I think you're going to be able to add a perspective that I can talk about lots of things, but you won't be able to. You'll be able to add color commentary. Hello, everybody. My name is Nydia MacGregor. I am the MBA faculty director for both our on-ground and online programs. I'm just really excited that we're getting a chance to tell you all about the program. As Yae mentioned, we launched this program in the winter of 2018 still.
Fast forwarding already.
Fast forward, that's right.
We're so innovative here.
So we're just really excited about being able to offer this as an opportunity to take an MBA, but online, our same curriculum, our same program. But maybe, Toby, you want to start off with just sort of, I don't know, tell us about the Leavey School of Business.
Sure. So Leavey School of Business, and if you, unfortunately, you're not been to campus, you really should come visit our campus. We call it Claradise. Santa Clara University is a gorgeous campus, and an online MBA program. We'll talk about this little later on, but you're able to come to campus whenever you want to, and the intensive class. So bigger picture of the Leavey School of Business, we actually have just over 700 graduate students in our MBA and Master of Science programs. So what that means for you is, of course, networking. You're obviously here to learn from our faculty, your classmates, but you're also here to network with various students. So we really encourage a lot of networking, either online or face-to-face. So you are part of a bigger portfolio of programs. Our online MBA program, we are just around 40 students right now. We are, of course, taking applications. We'll talk about that. But the Leavey School of Business is really the heart of Silicon Valley. So if you're not familiar with the Bay Area, we're sort of at the tip of the Bay. We're 45 minutes up the road to San Francisco. We're right next to San Jose. And we're really at the hub. Facebook, Netflix, etc. are within 20 minutes from us. So we are really blessed to bring in great faculty members from the Silicon Valley area. Bigger picture, Leavey School of Business, we are doing a lot of great initiatives here. So obviously one is online MBA. We're very excited about that. But what I would like to also mention is Karen McDudley, who is our current dean of the School of Business here, is the chair of AACSB, which is the accrediting body of business schools. That's a worldwide organization that our dean is leading, which I think is really important, which really sends a message that Santa Clara is really in the forefront of a lot of people's minds when deans kind of think about the curriculum and what we're doing here at the Leavey School of Business. Other big numbers, so Santa Clara University overall, we have just over 100,000 alums from both undergrad and grad students. And when you graduate, you'll be joining around 16,000 MBA alums alone just from the Leavey School of Business.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos, yes, we are the Broncos. In case you didn't know that, go Broncos, yes, correct. So that's a little bit sort of tidbits of the Leavey School Business and bigger picture Santa Clara University. We've had the MBA program, Evening MBA, since the 60s. So we really know what we're doing with working with professionals. And of course, now we're very excited about our online MBA program. So speaking of online MBA program, love to hear your thoughts a little bit more as faculty director about the curriculum, what the students will be going through and what you're going through.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Yae's going to chime in whenever I get to something that's actually really interesting, but I'll give you the basics. It's a 2-year program, 4 quarters each year, so 8 quarters total. It's a total of 70 units. And during that time period, you get all the core courses that you would imagine at any other program, anyplace else, your accounting, your finance, your marketing, right? But here at Santa Clara, we also, of course, emphasize innovation and the entrepreneurial mindset. There's a lot of analytics courses as well because big data is here and it's here to stay. And anybody bothering to work here in Silicon Valley needs to understand that, even if that is specifically not their job. Right. And then also there's what I would call an overarching set of ties to the Silicon Valley in general, right? So our faculty are really careful about engaging with current executives to use their firms as case studies in classes, to use them in special speaking engagements, bringing them in co-teaching or actually visiting a classroom, if you will, whether that's virtually or on ground. So we'll get to the intensives in a second. That'll explain that. And then also to use, I'll say, to executives in the Silicon Valley to co-develop classes. In other words, to help define exactly what students need to be successful here. I'll talk for a second about intensives, and then I'm going to ask you what your best class has been so far. Keep in mind, Yae's only been here for 3 quarters.
Yeah, no, so definitely what Nydia was talking about. I mean, one of the things that really drew me to Santa Clara was the idea of the curriculum. You know, they're in the heart of the Silicon Valley, and you can tell that they really update their curriculum based on what we need in the Silicon Valley. So one of the draws was they have a big focus on data analytics, which is really important in this area. So I was just like, wow, I'm in. This sounds great. I'm gonna come to Santa Clara, and so I'm glad I'm here. And yeah, keeping in mind, this is my 3rd quarter. You know, so it's been going by actually quite quickly, but also it's been a lot of fun, and I've taken a lot of different classes. You know, my undergrad was a business with a focus in marketing, so I kind of have an affinity for marketing, so I will say I enjoyed my marketing class a lot. But there were other classes that I took that, you know, were really interesting or really opened my mind. One of the classes was ethics. What ethics really, you know, it was talking about current issues. You know, it's not about, you know, thinking about way back when and history and
it's not Aristotle.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, oh, what happened and how this is shaping and maybe kind of what's happening now. It's more current, like what happened with Facebook and privacy laws and Target and things like that. So that was like a really interesting experience to learn about that, to think about it in a different light. You hear the news, but you know, it's different when you actually sit down to think about it. Another class is, you know, kind of focusing on that entrepreneurial spirit. I'm taking an entrepreneurship class right now, and that class is very interesting. I mean, one of the first things we had to do was, you know, for 24 hours, only use your non-dominant hand, which, you know, you kind of think to yourself, what am I supposed to do with using my non-dominant hand, and how is this related? But it's kind of thinking about opening up your mind. So I find a lot of the classes to be very interesting. All the professors are definitely very into it and helping, you know, really want to help you, and it really opens up your mind. And the curriculum, I mean, you know, you're not supposed to memorize everything. It kind of helps you learn things along the way. And I'm sorry to Professor Nelson if he's listening, but I don't remember everything in accounting, but I kind of remember enough that when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that from the accounting class.
Well, knowing Brian Nelson, he is watching, so our faculty are very engaged, which is great, which is wonderful.
But
so
it also,
no, I was just curious. Online versus evening. What made you decide to the online MBA program?
Yeah, no. So as I mentioned, I mean, I work like 2 to 3 miles from here, and I live in South San Jose. So honestly, the time commitment to go to evening class wasn't terrible, but I was just thinking about the flexibility. I mean, right now I'm still young, so kind of had that commitment available, but I wasn't really sure what was going to happen in a year from now or, you know, later on. And I just kind of like the idea of that flexibility, the ability to know that, hey, you know, if something goes bad, if something goes wrong, I still have that. It's still online, so I can keep taking my classes. And
you define when you get your work done. You define the schedule as opposed to being committed to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something like that.
Exactly. So, I mean, I just thought about every Monday, Wednesday, or every Tuesday, Thursday that I have to give up. And I was just like, And it's actually a very nice benefit to take your final exams in your pajamas. I'm not going to lie. That is really awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome experience.
I'll have to remember that.
It's a big draw. It's a big draw.
I wanted to ask you, so one of the things about the curriculum is we have 2 intensives at the very beginning or at the very end. I should say and at the very end. The beginning is the Managing and Leading People course, our Management 3000 class. And you do some online work to prepare for the class, but then you arrive and you're here for 3 days. And it's a great time to meet your cohort, get acclimated to the campus and see what's here, but also to really kickstart your program and to think carefully about what it is, what your goals are, and what you want to do in terms of growing as a leader over the course of the 2 years that you're here. And then we finish with an intensive in a challenges in course. But I wanted to ask Yae, what did you think of the intensive, and were there highlights that you think made a difference for you?
Of course. I mean, that was pretty much the first thing we did. We met you guys and we're like, this is a highlight. I will definitely say the intensive, it's intense, you know. They called it that for a reason. They picked a very apt name, but no, it was
to take advantage of all the time.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I will say it was a really great start. You know, as Nydia was talking about, we have a management class, so we have to kind of prepare for it. We had to do some reading, some discussions, and we were already doing some group work before we met. So, you know, you see all these names and you're kind of like, okay, I see a name like Brian or I see a name like Jennifer, but that doesn't really mean anything. They're just, you know, somewhere. I don't even know them. I've never met them. And then intensive it was a really nice opportunity to meet them. Mm-hmm. It's, you're going to be your cohort is really your MBA family for 2 years. I mean, and hopefully longer, but, you know, for the 2 years, you have to work together. So it was really nice to put faces to names, to talk to them about something other than courses, you know. So that was a really big draw for me as well, because an MBA, it's all about networking, it's all about meeting people, and that's an important factor for an MBA. So the fact that we have an intensive where we meet in person, that is, to talk to them, that's really great. And the first day is really focused on, you know, really getting to know your cohort. It's more about icebreakers and doing some teamwork, just so you can get to know them. You're a little more comfortable talking to them. And then on the second and third day, it's really more focused on classwork. So, you know, it's a great chance to start meeting your professor and talking to them, kind of getting that in-class experience again, but knowing you're going to go home later and, you know, be able to take your final exam in your pajamas or whatever. No, it was a great experience to meet your professor, meet your cohort, talk to them. And we also do some group work while you're there. So it was a great chance to even work with them, not just online, but also in person. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we kind of took that in. I know later on when we were doing our actual other courses, we met in person, like outside of just the intensive, because it was really nice that we were all within the Silicon Valley area. So we had that option to meet in person.
Cool.
So you're talking about the in-person aspect. So obviously, as I mentioned, sort of the networking piece is important. Mm-hmm. So I know you've done some kind of meetup groups. So you want to kind of, not required, and if you live in San Diego or Seattle or whatever else, not required, but I think what we're seeing, and I think when Nydia and I kind of designed the program, this is our first time doing an online platform, we really weren't sure what the kind of demographics would look like. And so right now we're seeing a lot of students in the Bay Area. We are getting interest. We have some students in San Diego and in LA as well. And we're talking to students outside of the state. So if you're outside the state, we look forward to seeing your application also. But can you sort of just talk about your meetup groups? I know you did some hikes and kind of the networking piece overall.
No. So, I mean, like I said, the nice thing about our cohort in particular was that we were all within the Silicon Valley. So, we took advantage of that. I mean, of course, it's a great experience for people out of state. And I mean, I know we have some other cohorts who are in like Ireland and San Diego. So, you're still part of our team. You're still part of our online MBA and love to network with you. But for the people who were here, we try to emulate as much of a evening MBA kind of meetup as much as possible, where we can meet with them, talk to them outside of just coursework. So, it's still new. We're still growing. I mean, we haven't even finished 3 quarters yet. So we've been trying to do meetups every month to 2 months just to have a chance to just take that time to meet. And, if you're available to come, that's great. If not, there's more opportunities. But yeah, we've done some things like hikes, and we just recently did a barbecue, and, it's growing. And as more people join, we'll have more people coming, and great chance to network. The nice thing about Santa Clara is you're still part of the greater school. So you can still go to the MBA mixers, but, we're trying to also create a little online community for ourselves too within that. So, yeah.
It sounds like there's the sweet spot between it being as much or as little as any one individual student wants, right? Mm-hmm. So you can make it as small and tight as you want to, because you guys can do that within a cohort, and if you're close geographically. But you can also take advantage of the broader opportunities that are here, because you're a Santa Clara student in every way, shape, and form. You can come to the events that we have on campus and take advantage of that, or of course the broader community that's our alumni network that's across the nation.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the great part so far. So we're still growing, but looking forward to more people joining.
Absolutely.
Indeed. So when we talk about the intensive, there's obviously all the resources that sort of takes to kind of get the program going. So we want to make sure that you understand that, as Nydia mentioned, you are part of the bigger Santa Clara family, but you have a lot of great support here through the university. Even though you're online, you still have that capability. So we have, a lot of you have already probably talked to some of our missions folks who kind of help with the nitty-gritty of the application process. So they, of course, are readily available and doing chats and whatnot. We also have Amanda Brem, who's our assistant director of the online MBA program. I'm sure a lot of you have corresponded with her. She's in the room right now, kind of watching. So she's here. So she's really going to be your direct contact as well in terms of admissions, but also the student experience overall. And then, of course, the great faculty. And then no matter where you live, you have an online support team in the student services department. So they kind of keep you in touch of curriculum, what courses to take, kind of making sure you're staying on top of things. So you have a lot of great support here throughout the program, which is phenomenal. And then, of course, as an alum, we have chapters all over the country and the world, actually. And ironically, tomorrow I'll be going to Sacramento for an alumni event. We're meeting up with 3 or 4 online MBA prospective students. So if you live in the Sacramento area, make sure you connect with us. You can see me and meet our Dean, Karen Beck-Dudley, as well. So that just shows you that we have a lot of great chapters and a lot of events kind of always happening. So fantastic resources overall. I want to make sure that that's kind of highlighted. Just because you're online does not mean you don't get phenomenal support. So would you agree? Is you're living the product right now?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've had absolutely no complaints. I will say, as the first cohort, there was nobody to walk me through the process and they say, this is kind of what you can expect. It was mostly just promises and hopes and dreams and just kind of like, we're hoping it will turn out like this. And I will say, it has met my expectation by far. Everything has been great. I've had no struggles. I've worried about the networking aspect, but, we've been trying to grow our cohort in that way. And the Camino, which is the online resource that we're using for our classes. The platform that has been a great, just a great product in general, where I've had no problems. It's great that with the online, for me specifically, you can almost look ahead to see what you can expect.
It's true.
So, that flexibility extends more than, just being at home and doing homework or listening to lectures. It's also the flexibility to know what's coming, so that if you're going on a vacation, let's say, you can plan that, you can read ahead, you can get that work going. So yeah, I will say that all the resources have been so great, really great so far. And the professors, one other thing I want to mention is professors, and you might think, one thing for me was that, I'll never like talk to my professors. I won't be able to see them. They won't be in person. Like, it won't be the same experience. But one of the great things is we use Zoom. So all the professors set up Zoom sessions, or office hours, where you can meet with them, you can talk to them. One is like in a group session where you can have like a discussion with your professors, but another one is they're always available, so you can email them and say, hey, I really don't get this, or maybe you want to talk about something else, something unrelated. They're available and definitely willing to talk to you about that too. So I know lots of my cohorts and other people have talked to them, reached out, and had Zoom one-on-one sessions with them, or even come here to meet them in person. So that resource is available to you.
But it's a really good point, because I think people feel like because it's online that there's this like hard distance between the student and the faculty, or even the student and the resources that we have here. And yet, we can make it very seamless, and we do. It's just a matter of people knowing that it exists and taking advantage of it when they do. I'm trying to think if
So yeah, let's, because I know a lot of students kind of look at online versus evening MBA. So I think let's just you kind of touched upon that a little bit, but I think it's important for everybody to realize that our evening MBA program, which is ranked 39th in the US by US News and World Report, and a lot of that ranking goes into the incoming classes, so GMAT, GPA, GRE, work experience, etc. That same curriculum, the same faculty, the same admission standards is also applied to our online MBA. So we're not eligible for our rankings right now for online MBA because we're brand new. We actually need alums to be eligible for the rankings. So stay tuned in 2 years. But I want to make it very clear that the Evening MBA and online MBA program are exactly identical. It's just, of course, one is online. So I think that's a true distinction that a lot of people are kind of looking at. So yes, if you are traveling a lot, or you want to do exams in your pajamas, the online MBA program is of course a great option for you.
The other reason why people do it is sometimes they have family commitments, or sometimes just the way their work schedule goes. They always work in the evenings. Well, an evening MBA isn't the place for you then. But we have the same curriculum and the same quality students, the same quality faculty, identical faculty, in fact, that teach in the online program versus the on-ground program. So there's all kinds of reasons. It's really a question of, the level of flexibility that online affords you. Is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah, I will say, I talked to somebody who was an alum of Santa Clara University, and I was just talking to her, totally randomly. I just found out she was a coworker, and I found out she's an alum of Santa Clara University. She's like, hey, I see you're going to Santa Clara. She's like, how is it? And I'm like, it's going great, really great so far. And we were talking about our courses actually, and she was telling me the exact same thing that I'm actually doing. So, it really, the online is the same as the evening. You kind of don't believe it. You're kind of like, but it's online. It's a little different. But no, we actually talked about the same thing. We talked about similar projects that we had to do. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, you'll get the same experience.
I mean, really what the faculty do is they take the same learning goals and the same curriculum. They just ask themselves a question as how can we translate this to the online platform, right? How can we maintain the engagement that we would see in a classroom and just have it on Camino, which is the platform that we use for online. So there's tons that's similar, and it's by design, for sure.
And it's the same cost. So the cost of online MBA and evening MBA identical, so around $77,000. Again, same admissions criteria. The only thing that's different is online MBA starts every quarter, whereas evening MBA starts only fall and spring. So there's that there. And
again, more flexibility.
Sure, more flexibility. Yeah, we're always kind of running and going in the online MBA space. In scholarships, so you would be sent to the admissions committee and our scholarship committee. So there are scholarships available for online MBA. You, of course, have to apply. So that's your first step. But if you are, everybody's automatically considered for a scholarship. So you don't. There's no separate application, which is nice.
All your admissions materials give the scholarship committee everything they need to know in order to consider you for a scholarship.
Right. Yeah.
I think the other thing that I just want to be sure that we brought up, Yae talked a lot about her cohort. One of the things that makes online MBA unique, but also just being here at Santa Clara University, is that we generally have it's a smaller space than some of what you might see in the competitors, right? So as an example, I know of other online programs, MBA programs, that will have 100 people in a class with a faculty member, and then there's a whole bunch of GSIs or teaching assistants that are doing the grading and having individual sessions with students. All of our faculty teach all of our students here, and we have small classes, and the cohorts for online are small, and that helps bring some of that MBA family that Yae was talking about, but it also helps make sure that students don't get lost, right? Nobody's going to get lost in a program of this size because, and we do that by design. Even here on campus, we don't have classrooms that hold more than 40 people because we don't want to have larger classrooms. We want that intimate experience for our students. We think it's important from a learning perspective.
Definitely. Yeah.
Anything else you want to?
So I think just one other touch point is, and I failed to mention this, I apologize, is Santa Clara overall, the university, we are a Jesuit university. So we are firm believers. We have a great mission here. There's 20 other Jesuit schools in the US, and of course there's more around the country, around the world. But being a Jesuit school, we are really kind of focused on teaching the whole person and really being led by ethical behaviors, which I think given the world right now, that is very important. So I want to make sure that that's really highlighted, that a lot of schools can kind of talk about ethics, but we have an ethics center here. That's kind of our core values kind of baked into Santa Clara overall, and of course the Leavey School Business. So I think as you're looking at different programs, kind of keep that in mind too. And again, to Nydia's point, we like to keep it a small group, which is nice. So we get to bond. So I think I don't want to take too much time because I know we're kind of during lunch and whatnot.
Right. That's right.
So I just have a few other, unless you have any other kind of, we'll take Q&A, I believe. But deadline, so the fall deadline is approaching. So August, I'm looking at the written thing right here, so sorry. So we have a priority deadline August 17th, and our final deadline for fall is August 29th. So you still have some time. And then of course, as I mentioned, we also taking applications for winter, spring, and summer. So it's kind of always going. But any questions you have, by all means, feel free to chat in the chat box and ask those questions. I see them being passed to me right now. So first question is for Yae. Mm-hmm. Thank you for asking students. So what does the online platform look like?
Okay. So you're going to be on this online platform. It's called Camino. And I guess it's kind of like your hub for everything. It's a way where the professors talk to you, so you get announcements, and there will be like notifications, so you never miss anything. So you always know if a professor made an announcement. It also has a calendar of all of the assignments that are due and what you expect the quarter to look like. And every week is broken down into different modules. So you get module 1 through module 10. And every module is just another week in the course. And every module you have readings and then lectures and then a way for you to have discussions. So, obviously an evening MBA, you kind of have that organic discussion, but in the online MBA, you have to kind of put posts on, your thoughts. So you put your own ideas and then you kind of respond to other people. So it's just a platform where it has everything that you need, a way for you to, email your professor, a way for the professor to communicate to you, and all these lectures and readings just all in one kind of view. So it's very intuitive, I would say. I would say definitely do not be worried about the online platform. It's, once you look at it and you kind of click through, everything just kind of makes sense. So.
Was this your first online class?
Yeah, definitely. This was my first online experience. My undergraduate was at a UC, so kind of what you were talking about, and what you both were talking about actually with the smaller experience. When I went to a UC, it was hundreds of students all in one class, and then we got separated into different sessions. But here it's just like a very nice, intimate experience. You get to really interact with the professor. You really get to interact with everybody in your cohort. That way you can maximize your networking experience with everybody in there. So,
And one last question, which I'm excited about. You're going to be excited too, Nydia.
Okay.
We've been talking about it quite some time.
Yes.
Are there any global experiences?
Oh, there are global experiences. In fact, the first global trip for Yae's cohort and the cohorts that are
You
starting.
don't even know this yet.
Yeah,
Probably. Hot off the press.
Will be next September, and The place will be
Vietnam.
It will be Vietnam. That's just one example. We will offer several global perspectives trips every year, so that people have an opportunity to do that. And the way, because it's an online experience, obviously there'll be a little bit of coursework that you do in preparation for the trip to understand the culture of where you're going to, the economic system there, how it's different and how it's the same from the United States. And then we get there and then we continue the experience there as a big group. So we're really excited about it. It's also actually a place where online students will also see some on-ground students, because the Global Perspectives trips, although they're organized by program, have both sets of students at the same time. So it's a lot of fun.
And I would say, do your homework. Not every online MBA program has that capability, so dig around. But we're very excited. Now you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm very excited for that.
get ready for Vietnam. So we're excited. So well, good. So I have a few more sort of talking points. So first, hope you enjoyed today. Be sure to share the video with friends, family, whoever. The more the merrier, of course. Apply. Go to onlinemba.scu.edu. That's where all of our information is in terms of deadlines and curriculum and everything else that we've covered, but more brochures and whatnot. And then any questions, you can always email us at onlinemba@scu.edu. And then if you live in the Bay Area, you can definitely come to our information session. You can sign up for that. That's face-to-face. You would be here in Lucas Hall. That's the business school. That is August 14th in the evening. And if you live outside the Bay Area, we always have different webinars and different chats. So by all means, go to onlinemba.scu.edu and you will definitely see kind of all the great activities we're doing. So I know I'm always excited to, of course, read the applications with Nydia and others in the admissions committee and kind of see what you're writing about in your essays. But I think what's going to be more exciting for me is, of course, and I think Yae sort of saw that, is our excitement at the intensive. You get orientation, we get to meet you, and I know it's always exciting. We do a fun picture, and it's great. So from the dean's office, we're always excited to see our students kind of come to campus and join Bronco Nation. So let's do a friendly Santa Clara cheers to you all.
Go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Broncos.
Look forward to seeing your application soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.